Hello everyone, you're watching CardyGolf. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Good day to you YouTube, I hope you're all well. Welcome to what feels like a very, very wintry time of year all of a sudden. And you can see if I just turn this around real quick, how gloomy and horrible the weather looks. Nobody's really on the golf course, but why? It's not that bad. But it is that time of year, it's getting darker earlier, it's getting colder. Most importantly, it's starting to get wetter and people aren't going out. So today is all about giving you a few tips to play in the rain. So important. And when I say tips to play in the rain, I'm not going to sit here and start talking to you about the technique to hit better shots in the rain, etc., because I don't really think there is one. You know, I could clutch at straws and tell people not to try and grip it too tight. People have a tendency to grip it too tight, but that affects your lever system, etc., etc., etc. But actually, it's so much more about preparation. If you prepare the best out of everyone in the field, you're going to have a really good chance of winning on those rainy days. So what do I mean by preparation, you might ask? Well, I mean decent waterproof for a start. There's nothing worse than getting absolutely soaked through and spending 18 holes of your life feeling uncomfortable, freezing cold, unable to swing a club properly. Decent bucket hat wouldn't go amiss. You don't really want all that water dripping down into your eyes. And if you're not a fan of the bucket hat, Titleist are doing waterproof baseball caps now too. And you might be starting to get to that time of year where maybe you can bin off the spikeless shoes. You do get a lot of people slip this time of year. I have to say a lot of the spikeless shoes do work really well in the wet, but some of them might not. So, you know, avoid that shot where your foot slips halfway through the downswing. You have to try and save it with your left hand. Holding on to the golf club is crucial. Okay, so when it gets wetter, that is more difficult. So don't just go out with one glove. Make sure you're fully stocked, ready, just in case your first glove gets soaking wet. You might want to give a rain grip glove a try. These are absolutely phenomenal. And it's not just your gloves that pay dividends or extra gloves that pay dividends when you're playing in the rain. Make sure you've got decent grips on your golf clubs to start with. If your grips are starting to get worn, then frankly in the wet, they're going to be pretty shocking. Don't feel like you've got to buy 4 new gloves either. Just when your gloves start to get a little bit worn, put them in a separate part of your bag, have a new glove for your dry weather, and use the slightly older ones as reserve. Don't just go through one glove until it has 8 holes in it, then replace it, and go through that until it has 8 holes in it and replace it, etc., etc. Keeping your equipment dry is crucial as well. Get yourself a waterproof golf bag if you can. I haven't actually got a waterproof golf bag to pick up and show you because we actually sold out over the last couple of days at Hintlesham. They're so popular and for obvious reasons. That time of year now where it's important to have a dry towel. It's not just important to have one dry towel. Make sure you go out with multiple dry towels. And again, it's not me trying to sell loads of towels. You know, you can nick one from the cupboard at home. All right, and just have it in a part of your waterproof bag so you can just whip it out whenever you need to dry grips or dry hands or whatever you need to keep dry. In fact, next time you stay in a hotel, they give them away free. Okay, I'm joking, I'm not advocating stealing towels from hotels. In fact, golf clubs have towels. No, I'm not advocating stealing towels from golf clubs either. Decent brolly is imperative. Okay, if you're playing in 90-mile-per-hour winds and driving rain, brollies turn inside out, etc., you've got far more chance of that not happening with a decent brolly. And if it's going to happen with a decent brolly, then it's probably whether you shouldn't be out on the golf course anyway. Okay, so we're prepped better, and if you know you can get prepped really well for wet weather, then it does, like I said earlier, puts you at an advantage. I'm now at probably a stage in my golfing career where I feel like maybe I'm not as good as I once was. I'm not the best player in the field, so I actually do a little rain dance. I actually hope for rain because I know I can prepare for rain better than most other people, and it kind of levels out the playing field for me. So you're going to go out with waterproof gear and good waterproof gear. Don't scrimp on that. That is so crucial. You're going to go out with decent shoes, decent spikes. You're going to go out with decent grips on your golf club. You're going to go out with spare gloves, a waterproof bag if you can, spare towels, dry spare towels, a decent brolly. Okay, once you've got all that, you're pretty much set. But there's one really key ingredient for good golf in poor weather, and that's acceptance. A word that I've used before on the channel. Acceptance is so important. Accepting that maybe the scoring will be up. So if you don't start too well, you make the odd mistake down to the bad weather. Don't get in a grump about it. Don't let it affect the rest of your game, because you need to accept that scoring will probably be higher. And once you do all that, folks, there'll be no excuses, no being a fair weather golfer. No more looking at the weather forecast and thinking, oh, for God's sake, my whole weekend's ruined, because you can still go out and do it. Enjoy the rain, embrace the rain, and I'll see you next week. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me at CardyGolf on all other social media, and I'll see you next week.